Well. Good evening, everybody. Good to have everyone in there. After 2 weeks, I kind of messed up last week, and we moved it from Sunday. If you remember, last Sunday was Mother's Day, and we moved it to Monday night. And doggone it, if I didn't just absolutely slip my mind last Monday. So we've gone 2 full weeks in between speaking to Zane. So we've got a little bit to report tonight, but good to have everyone in there. Let's see who we've got here. There's my cousin Toby. Hey, Toby. I'm going to come back to you here in just a minute. There's my wife, Lori. I'm going to come back to her too in a minute and tell you a little bit about what she's been up to. There's my buddy Ken, safe and sound, I think, home from a week in North Dakota. Brenda Lusk is in there. Dan Jeffers is in there. Daryl's in there. Matt Aaron's in there. Steve Shirley. Ryan. Hey, Ryan Lamberts. How you doing, buddy? Good to have you in there. My Aunt Cindy's in there from over in Alabama. Lori is watching with my grandson Everett. So hello, Everett. Jim Miller's in there. And another Facebook user that's calling me Tommy. That might be one of my aunts. It only shows up as Facebook user for some reason. But yeah, my my mom's entire side of the family calls me Tommy because my dad is named Guy and our middle name is Thomas. So all through my childhood, I grew up as Tom or Tommy. So most of my relatives on my mom's side still call me that. There's Colin Krim. Hey, Colin. And let's see. Okay, I thought that might be. That's my Aunt Mary in there. Okay, well, we got a good crowd assembled today for the May 15th edition of Speaking to Zane, the 191st edition. 191 times. We've got 9 more times. We'll hit a 200 times. How about that? But back to the Griffins. Got my Aunt Mary is my dad's sister. She's the youngest of the Joe and Gladys McDonald 6. I think there were 6 of them. Robert or Bob, Jack, Arthur, Guy, Betty, Dee, and Mary. I think Mary is the youngest. And my Aunt Mary has been married to her husband, Jerry Wayne Griffin, since I think 1974 or 5, something like that. Well, Uncle Jerry Wayne has been in poor health for, I don't know, guys, what's the last 6 or 8 years. And unfortunately, Uncle Jerry Wayne passed away this morning, I think at about 4:45 or so. In his sleep. So condolences, Aunt Mary and Toby, on the passing of your husband, and Toby of your father. And I know you will miss him. I can't even begin to imagine, the sorrow of losing your father or your spouse, something that I've not experienced yet. And our hearts are with you guys. And we're certainly pray for comfort for you guys and the entire family. And as it turns out, Uncle Jerry also served in the Army, I believe. I don't know if he was in the Army Guard or Reserve, but during it was the late 60s, early 70s, I believe. But so thank you, Uncle Jerry Wayne, for your service, and rest in peace, sir. Okay, let's see. Katie is in there. All right. Well, we got a good crowd tonight. I tell you what, I appreciate you guys stopping in. I know we have some viewers out there too that don't pipe in. And if that's you, hello. Thank you for joining. If you're on YouTube or on the Facebook group, certainly nice to have you in there watching. Well, let's see. I've been given a fire update on the house next door. Well, there's really not an update. They haven't started any activities over there. It's been dead quiet. I mowed their yard last week, and bring their trash can up and down, and but there's nobody. I saw Michael there this afternoon for a brief period of time, but there's nobody doing anything to the house. But to look from the outside, you'd never know it, that it's totally gutted on the inside. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. Well, let's see what else. Well, I mentioned last week was Mother's Day, and if you remember, speaking of mothers, Lori's mother was supposed to come on Saturday before Mother's Day, and that was after 2 reschedules because of sickness, illness, COVID, and whatnot. Well, Lori ended up getting really sick, and decided probably not a good time for her mother to come. And so we ended up postponing it. We're sort of on an indefinite postponement at the moment, although I think Lori and her mom have some dates in mind after on or around Labor Day-ish, something like that. Because I think there's, I think her birthday is in that window. But anyway, so Lori's mother has not been here yet, but Lori has been pretty doggone active. Let me tell you about this Grammy. She, our little grandson Everett is 5. That's our daughter Hannah's son. Well, his father Enoch is married to another young lady named Hannah, not our Hannah, but another woman that he married a few years ago. So that's our grandson Everett's dad, Enoch. Well, he has a wife named Hannah, and they just had 2 brand new babies. Of course, they're brand new. They were just born. Brand new babies, 2 brand new babies, twins, 1 boy, 1 girl. I think Ezra and Myra, maybe something like that. Well, so they're both work. They both work. I think Hannah was working right up until the doctor said, "Hey, you need to come in and have those babies." And the babies were early as it was, but you know, with twins, it's always they always watch them real close there at the end. But anyway, so because they both work and work right up until the time the baby, Maya, okay, yeah, Ezra and Maya, Lori says. Anyway, so they didn't have anything done. The baby's nursery wasn't ready. The baby's clothes hadn't been washed. And they're really kind of new baby parents. And so Lori said, "Well, why don't I come over there? I'll spend the week with you guys. I'll look after Everett, so you guys can get things wrapped up and go have the babies. And you won't have to worry about Everett. I'll look after Everett. I'll stay at your place." And then, so she stayed at their place most of last week, and about an hour and a half from here. And she got the nursery ready. She got all the baby's clothes washed. She even took her new dog with her. So she had Everett and the new puppy, Dougal is his name. And she spent the week over there looking after these little babies that aren't even biologically hers. And so just amazing. And then Lori left there, brought Everett and the dog on the way home Saturday morning or Friday night, and she stopped and picked up our little granddaughter Carson so that Jackson and Caitlin could go do something. I think she had to work and this and that and the other. And Lori, so on the way home with Everett and the dog, after being away for a week, she stops and picks up Carson, brings them all back here to the house, and then unloaded everybody. And then Carson ended up staying the night. And so both Everett and Carson woke me up this morning. Granddaddy. And then so Lori got them all packed back up again. Carson, Everett, and Dougal, and all of her stuff for the week and drove back over, dropped Carson off, drove back over to Everett's house to spend this next week or so helping them get back with the two babies and everything. Wow, that's a grand. She's not even their Grammy, but I think they're going to grow up thinking that she's their Grammy, because their brother is Everett, and she's definitely Everett's Grammy. So I think we might have just picked up two more bonus grandkids. We'll see, but just an interesting couple of weeks. Well, there's Aunt Paula. Aunt Paula, I was going to message you this afternoon and find out how the heck you are doing. I know you're probably over halfway. You're halfway through your 6 weeks, I think, that you said you were going to be sequestered. So I'm anxious to hear how you're doing, how you're feeling, and what the prognosis is. I can't imagine that you've adhered to the isolation that the doctor tried to prescribe to you. So let us know how it's going. Okay, let's see. Okay, Jim Miller's in there. I got you, Jimbo. Thank you. All right, we got a good crowd. Let's see what else we got going on here at the fabulous McDonald Estate and Insane Asylum. Well, what's going on at work? Lots of crazy stuff going on at work. I'm about to graduate my first group of baby engineers. There's 7 of them, and they're just about to finish their first 1 year. Their first year, a 1-year program I put them through. And in fact, we're going to all converge in St. Louis next month and have an official graduation ceremony for them. That's kind of crazy, but that's the inaugural class, and got another class right behind them that's in their 5th month. And then there's 5 veterans in that group. And then I just hired another group of 11 that start next month. And there's 2 veterans in that group. So lots happening right now at work for sure. There's Amy Pope Walton. Hey, Amy Walton, how you doing, pal? She's a good buddy. I'll tell you what, good teammate. Good to see you in there. She's got a little grandbaby too. Boy, that little character is he is funny. But I forget his name, Amy, your little grandson. But boy, that kid, that's one cool kid. He has a little ice cream truck. I don't think he's, what, a year and a half or so, but cute as a button. Hendrix, that's right, Hendrix. Good old Hendrix. Okay, let's see. Weight loss update. Well, you remember the last time I reported 2 weeks ago, I was at the 40-pound mark. And so it's been 2 weeks since I reported I was at the 40-pound loss mark. And I've lost 1 more pound. I'm at the 41-pound mark. Man, it's going slow right now, and I'm doing exactly the same thing. So I need to do something different. I'm adhering to my, I'm pretty much ketovore. I'm pretty much just all meat. Yeah, so I'm on my way. I shouldn't tell you guys what I want to. Let's just say I'm over 40, on my way to 50, and I've got sights beyond that. But I'm a little bit stalled at the moment, so I got to figure out if I need to tune in a little bit more exercise. I'm doing 2 miles a day. I got to figure out if I need to introduce anything new. But I'll tell you, I've seen some people over the last couple of weeks I haven't seen in 2 years of the pandemic. And in fact, I had a happy hour downtown in Atlanta Wednesday night, I think it was. Saw some people for the first time in a couple of years. And then I see new people on, video. And this one young lady, she says, "Guy, you look so much younger. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Younger? I don't think I look any younger." She says, "You look so much younger." And anyway, so I know that the 41 pounds, I know I want to lose more than 41 pounds, but it's the inches that really I can feel the most, for sure. No doubt about it. So anyway, I'm still going. I'm still on my meat, eggs. So cheer me on. All right. Well, let's see who we got here. Jim, okay, Jim's saying hi to Amy. That's his buddy too. We all love Amy. Aunt Paula says she's got 2 more weeks. I knew she was just over halfway. Thankful for friends and family who provided transportation. Have a doctor's appointment Wednesday. You are looking great. Oh, thank you, dear. I'm trying to remember when we saw you. Did we saw you on our October trip, wasn't it? So it's been the last one I saw when Lori and I met you at Cracker Barrel. No, you were there in March. You were there in March. You came out in March. Yeah, I hadn't lost, but probably about 20 pounds last time I saw you then. So I've lost twice that since we saw you. All right, Ken loves the hat. I know Ken loves the hat. I'm going to talk about his the power of the sack hat here in a minute when we get to the Thank a Vet challenge. We got another Facebook user in there. I don't know if that's Kathy Cobb. I can't tell. It just says Facebook user. But if you come on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, for some reason it doesn't translate your name onto the StreamYard. So I see there's a Facebook user there. Hello. Good to have you in there. March, yes. Yep. I corrected myself there, Aunt Paula. I think we saw you in October and then we saw you in March. And we'll probably see you again this fall. I've already got people asking me when we're going back out there again. And in fact, I may end up going sooner because Kelly called me the other day and she needs some help with their network out there. So Lori and I may be taking a trip down there sooner than we planned. We'll see. And I saw, Aunt Paula, I saw that my friend Amanda Duggar, the 2-time cancer survivor, she was in Odessa today or yesterday. Isn't that where you're at? There's some kind of animal farm or something there. They took their little girl Ellie to. But anywho, all right. Let's see what else we got going here. Oh, I got some stuff. Speaking of Kathy Cobb, I don't know if that's Kathy on there or not, but Kathy, if you're there, hello. Kathy is she's not a new grandmother, but she had a new grandbaby here in the last few weeks. Kathy Cobb, her and Gordon. But Kathy sent something home with Lori the other day, some items that belong to her dad, Mr. Ed Burke. You remember I just attended Mr. Burke's funeral in Savannah a few weeks ago and was pleased to get to meet him and spend some time with him. 92 years young. Anyway, Kathy sent some things home with Lori. They were at lunch for me. And some of Mr. Cobb's belongings, or Mr. Burke's belongings. He's got this DVD of Arlington. That's something you'd like, Ken. If you haven't seen this, probably see it on YouTube. Arlington in Eternal Vigil. I haven't watched it yet, but Kathy thought I might like. You might like this too, Ken. You know remember those big coffee table books? Here's one called Pearl Harbor. This belonged to Mr. Burke. And Kathy thought I might enjoy it. And she's absolutely right. I enjoy it. I love this thing. Just some phenomenal photography in here and just the whole story. And I know Ken's father was there. Ken's father lived through it. And you'll hear that story again this December when we have Ken tell it. But I've always been fascinated with it. And you guys know I'm a history buff, World War II buff. And so I thank you, Kathy, for those items that belong to my friend, Mr. Burke. I love it. All right. Well, it turns out that Zane was also a big fan of these coffee table books, wasn't he, Lori? He's got, somewhere along the way, he had a habit of acquiring things. Somewhere along the way, he acquired several big coffee table-like books, history, military stuff. And we have them downstairs, and we'll always think of them when we see them. I don't know where he got them from, but he enjoyed those things too. But, oh, man, look, Mike Koof's in there, Kufrovich, saying hi to his old pals. Good to have you in there, Mike. Going to have to see when we can get back together. Speaking of getting together, my wife doesn't even know this yet. I've got a buddy that lives in an old Air Force buddy. We were together in Mildenhall. His name is Ken Haberer. And we flew together on Sinkier there. He was another IMT. or what they call the CSEs over there. But Ken Haber, I don't know, Steve or Amy, Amy probably didn't remember him. I think he left before Amy got there, but Ken Haber. And anyway, he was there enough to go to the Rock a few times, a year or so with us. But anyway, Ken has a place on a lake up near Knoxville, Tennessee. And then one of our other buddies, Jerry Trimmer, who were friends from Mildenhall. Jerry lives up in Kentucky. And it turns out that we're about equidistance from Ken. Ken has invited us to come up there and spend the day with him next Saturday. I think it is 21st, whenever that is, next Saturday maybe. And so I may take a run up there and spend the afternoon. He's got a golf course there in the neighborhood, and not that I've golfed in a while. We have a golf club course in our neighborhood too, but we don't golf. But anyway, I'll probably run up there in the morning and spend the afternoon. And no, different Jerry, Lori, different Jerry. I've known some Jerrys. That was a different Jerry. But a good memory, though, to remember that. We've been married a long time, 38 years. But anyway, so Ken Haber and Jerry Trimmer. Anyway, I may get to see them on Saturday up near Knoxville. Yes, Lori, you got the last name right. Jerry Cortez, Geraldo Cortez was his name. Anyway, so yeah, so that'll be good. So Ken and I saw each other for the first time since 1988, 87. We saw each other at the San Antonio 10th Acts reunion. I don't know, Amy and Steve and the others that were there with us. Ken was there. There was probably 6 of us CSEs, me and Mike McCormick, Ken, Tom. Oh gosh, now I'm forgetting. There was maybe 2 others that were there, but anyway, I'll hopefully be seeing both of those guys, and it'll be the first. So I saw Ken then. But it'll be the first time I've seen Jerry Trimmer since about 1986 or 7. Yeah, that's a long time. So we'll see. But yeah, that'll be fun. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, Lori's commenting on those books, the coffee table books. Okay, I knew Lori would know. So a friend of her mom's gave them to him. Okay. Got it. Yep. And we still have them down in the living room. But yeah, Zane was into all kind of crazy stuff. He was a goofy guy, but very eccentric in his interests for sure. And that was one of them. But well, Dan, yeah, there probably, I would say there'll probably be a bourbon or 3 consumed as a toast, of course, and maybe for medicinal purposes. We are old after all, and getting kind of knotted up, although I feel wonderful after losing 41 pounds. All right, so hat of the week. Ken's already on to the hat of the week. Well, I picked something that usually the hat of the week has something to do with what's going on or what I've been up to or going to be up to. And I couldn't think of anything that coincided, but I know the power of the SAC hat. I've experienced, Daryl's experienced it. Ken has experienced it. I know the others, Jimbo's experienced it. Those of us that have these very loud and boisterous Strategic Air Command hats, we demand attention. Look at that thing when you walk in a Walmart. You can't help but see the big old the fist of the Strategic Air Command. Anyway, because of Ken's interactions this week and the draw of the Strategic Air Command hat that he was wearing in his travels, this is the hat of the week. So the mighty Strategic Air Command hat. It's not the first time that the SAC hat has been featured as the hat of the week, but it is the hat of the week yet again. So there you go, in honor of Ken's travels this week, which I'll get to here in a minute. Ken does a little consult. Ken's retired from the Air Force, of course. I think a little bit younger than me and Steve and some of the others, but retired for the last 10 plus years. But he still does a little consulting on the side, and some of that consultant takes him out of town. And I think it's true that he was at Minot Air Force Base up in North Dakota, where there's a woman behind every tree. Used to be the old saying. There's no trees. It's endless plains and snow. Anyway, but Ken, it sounds like you had a good trip there. I know you absolutely crushed it on the Think a Bet challenge this week, which we'll get to here in just a minute. I do have one this week in military history because I ran out of time today. I just didn't take the time, and nothing stuck out to me. A lot of times I'll bookmark these things as I see them, and one that I did bookmark was it goes back to March 5th, so I'm a little bit late on it, but on March the 5th, 1961, March the 5th, 1961, Navy test pilot Alan Shepard became the first American in space. There you go. And the space race was on. And can you believe we just put a man in space in May of 61, and we had a man on the moon by 69. Wow. And we can't get baby formula now. Explain that to me, Lucy. Yeah, just doesn't make sense, does it? Well, I'll tell you what, I was following space and exploration and all that stuff as a kid for sure. And so that's your This Week in Military History. All right, moving on to the Veteran Cemetery Challenge. Here's a challenge for you that might be new on here today. We've started this challenge visiting these humble places where we bury our veterans. And, I have been to Arlington before, but really never made it a habit of visiting a national cemetery until we put our own son in one. And then it just became a whole different thing. And so we started this thing about Lori and I we sort of gravitated to these veteran cemeteries, and I said, man, let's make a little game out of it. And boy, you guys sure have. Over the last couple of years we've been doing this, we've made 615 visits to veteran cemeteries, someone from this group. And we've done that to 155 or so different cemeteries all across the world. We got a lot more to go, but yeah, that's not too shabby. This week, Daryl, who's up in Missouri, visited Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery twice since, maybe be more, twice this last week. And yeah, twice this last week, I think, and then one the week before. Because it's been 2 weeks since we met, so I need to add them all up there. So I'm gonna have to modify my number here on the fly. That's okay. So Daryl made. I think I'm right when I say over the last 2 weeks, Daryl has made 3 visits to Jefferson Barracks. I know the weather's getting really nice. Actually, I know the weather was in the 90s in St. Louis this week. And then Jimbo made, since we last were together, Jimbo has made 3 trips to Omaha National and one to St. John Cemetery, where his wife Deborah is buried. He visited her for Mother's Day, and I know it had to be tough. But so that's Jim and Daryl, and then I paid a visit to Georgia National Cemetery today. I hadn't really planned to go today, but the weather was so nice. I got all my other tasks done. And I said, I hadn't been out there in a few weeks. I'm going to run out there. And I did. And I'm sad to say, Lori, that there's no flowers, and I didn't have any with me. So just so you'll know there. There's no flowers, and it does really kind of look bare when you're used to. I know Daryl's used to having flowers on Wanda's, and it doesn't look right when there's no flowers there. But they have regular pickup times, and you have to, if your flowers are still there when it's pickup time, they clear them all away, and that's a good thing because it gets all the dead. If there's any live ones, they get the dead ones out. They get any that are disheveled and whatnot, and you can start fresh again. But anyway, so it was just absolutely beautiful up there. I don't know if you've ever looked on the map, but Canton, Georgia, it's just at the foothills of the North Georgia mountains, or about 25 miles north of us, and up on a hill. And it's a little bit cooler up there all the time, and just beautiful breeze, no humidity, sunshine. And I just sat there for probably an hour. There's some benches. Lori, I don't know if you know this, but yeah, you do, because we sat there before. But there's some metal benches up there that some folks have donated, a couple of organizations. But on the other side of the parade ground, I just went up there and sat for a little bit. But a very nice day to do that, just to get out there and disconnect. And so I think that's it for the visits. So if I add up the visits, we had 8 this week, which take our count to 616. 616 visits. How about that? When I tell people that at work, their mind is blown that a small group of people would do that. But good stuff. And then the Thank a Vet Challenge, you guys have been pretty busy thanking fellow veterans and first responders and whatnot. We started this kind of on accidentally as well. We just one time at an airport coming back from Texas A&M, I said thank you to a Vietnam vet in the airport, and then the next week, here we go with a new challenge. And since then, we've thanked this small group of people have given 1,457 thank yous to veterans, service members, first responders. So that's good. A record week for one young man today. Let's see, what do we got here? Daryl had, if I get any of this wrong, you guys correct me in the chat, but Daryl, I know, had an Army vet at the grocery store. Lori had 7 Cobb County police officers when she was out at lunch a couple weeks ago. She has those cards. Remember those cards Lori has? Where's those cards? I don't know if this is exactly like the one she has now, but she gives these cards out to police officers, and it absolutely floors them. Can you imagine? They're always on guard. Can you imagine somebody walking up to handing them something? They got to always be nervous. But anyway, let's see. Matt piped in today. Matt had the opportunity this week to thank a Army vet and a Marine Corps vet. A Marine asked him about his tattoo. Matt has a tattoo on his forearm, I believe it is, Matt, dedicated to Zane. And he said the Marine saw that tattoo and asked him about it. So he had the opportunity to speak Zane's name today. How about that? And then I had Air Force vet at the Kroger yesterday. Had Army vet I talked to at Georgia National today. And then another Army vet at work this week that I met for the first time. And then Ken had a record week. I don't know if Ken, I don't know what Aunt Paula's record is, but Ken might have eclipsed it. Let's see. Ken had an Air Force, Korean, and Vietnam War vet. And then on his trip to Why Not Minot, he thanked the gate guard. Funny story there. You got to go read. When we're done here, go to the Speaking of Zane Facebook group and read Ken's entries about his encounters this week. You'll get a kick. I won't read them tonight, but they are good. So he met this young airman at the gate as he showed him his retired Air Force ID card, and it's a good story. And then during his consulting gig up there with the United States Air Force, on one day, Ken thanked 11 service members. And then again, another day, 7 And then on his way back, two more, I think, at the Denver airport. And one of them, no, that's the power of the SAC hat. That's where the Strategic Air Command story comes in. And Ken was evidently wearing his Strategic Air Command hat. Good job, young man. And this guy saw it at the USO, and they struck up a conversation. And Ken, put in the chat who it was that you met there. I'm trying to remember myself without having to go back and look at your post there. But turns out that he's a fellow airman from the Looking Glass, and you guys probably all know him, Steve and Amy, depending on your timing. Jim Tuttle. Yeah, Jim Tuttle is who I was trying to think of. And we saw Jim at, didn't we see Jim at a recent reunion of 049? I can't remember which. I know we had several things we did at 049 over the years, and I don't remember which one that he was at, but I remember seeing some pictures of him there. But anyway, what a small world. Ken messaged me right away. He couldn't wait to tell me the small world the power of the SAC hat story. So good stuff there. Yep, Jim Tuttle. So good week on the thank yous for show. Let's see, anything new on the organizations? I know that if you remember last year, Lori and I talked about organization called, oh gosh, looking at my list here. Well, my goodness, where are they? Carry the Load. Carry the Load is the name of the organization, and they sponsor a bunch of walks regionally across the United States. Last year, the Eastern Walk came down, and there's a bike ride too, but came down through Georgia National Cemetery. Lori and I went out there and walked with them. We walked the circuit of the Georgia National Cemetery and got to meet some of the guys, and it was a special time. They're in the middle of their thing right now. I need to look and see when they will be, if they're coming back through Georgia National, and if so, when. But the group is called Carry the Load. Look them up. They may be coming to a city near you. Carry the Load, they're called. But to bring awareness to fallen heroes and first responders, military, etc. Good organization for sure. Anyway, they're on their walk. I think it all culminates Memorial Day is the deal. So I'll have to look that up. But that's one of the main things. And then coming up in July will be the Running to Honor 5K with our friend Aaron Bartle up in Michigan. We'll be doing that again. I mentioned that Kelly from my workplace gave me a call the other day, and it might necessitate another trip down there, depending on what I can help them with on the phone. But that'd be all right. We'll see if I can squeeze that in. But let's see. Yeah, that's it for the organizations that I'm aware of. But unfortunately, we did lose a soldier this week. It's unfortunate. This is a tragic situation. We lose folks in actual encounters and fire in combat, and then certainly we can lose people in preparation for combat. Right, if you train right. You're going to have some accidents, but this was a case of a soldier that we lost in doing neither of those. And I don't know the whole story, but Army Staff Sergeant Seth Plant, he was with the 509th Infantry Regiment at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, Alaska, and unfortunately, he was attacked and mauled by a bear and subsequently passed away there at the hospital. So what do you do? But terrible situation for sure. All right, folks. Well, we have come to the end of Speaking of Zane for this week. Man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys joining me. And boy, how upset I was last Monday night when 9:30 or so rolled around, and I looked at my watch, and I'm like, I missed it. But anyway, I did put a little post up there after and gave you a little trivia this week in military history trivia question that Ken answered pretty quickly about VE Day, which was a couple weeks ago. All right. Well, in your travels or your exploits this week, be sure to be on the lookout for the power of the SAC hat. You see any other vets out there hobbling around with military hats on, be sure to stop them and tell them thanks, find out a little bit about their story. I tell you, I always enjoy that in the Kroger when I stop and have a little chat, but or the Lowe's or the Home Depot. But and check on your buddies. I tell you what, we don't know what people are going through all the time, and just check on your buddies, check on your wingman, check on your battle buddies, and check on your shipmates. But don't take anything for granted, and stay in contact, stay in connected, and we can help each other. But hey, I'll look forward to reporting next week about getting together with my two Air Force buddies and how they look these days. And if they've aged as well as I have, I'll let you know. Maybe even take a few snapshots and post those on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group. But we will definitely see you right back here again next Sunday night for Speaking of Zane. Take care, everybody. God bless you.